Now, before I put this in, if you watch the other video where I was showing the troubleshooting and figuring out this whole thing, you remember I'm going to put a telephone jack down here. And here's the telephone jack up there. I'm going to take that out. I'm going to fish that down. Remember, I saw that the wires were coming down. I didn't know how far they were coming down. Well, I reach in here and look at that. There's the telephone wire right there. And ultimately, not today, but tomorrow, I've got time because the countertop guy is not showing up for 2 days now. Okay, I can take a little cut-in ring like this. It's open to the back. Okay, just like that. Then I can fish the wire through there, and I'm hoping to keep the whole thing on its little pad without having to take the wires apart, and I'm hoping to fish it through there. This works just like a cut-in box. See the little flaps? Here's a flap here, right there. And there's another flap there. Okay, and I'm going to put that above the plug because nobody's ever going to need to see that, and all it's there for is to plug the telephone in. Then I'm going to have to patch that up there, but that's for another day. We're still on this project.
You patch it, you have to repaint it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to patch it. Mr. Inspector still working on his job.
Repaint it.
Hey, you guys always trying to keep me in line, aren't you? Well, yeah, we just patched and textured these walls, and the painter came. Now guess what? We're gonna have another hole here because we weren't thinking about this. Should have thought about it a little bit more. My aunt decided she wanted that moved. She thought that was a little bit of an eyesore. So we're going to take that down. Then that's got to be patched. It's got to be textured. It's got to be primed. It's got to be painted. Luckily, the painter's going to come back. He's got to do some touch-up. And there's going to be some crown molding that's going to be installed throughout the house. Well, in the living room, the hallways, and this whole kitchen area, and above the cabinets and all that. So the painter has to do some touch-up there, too. So he'll be back. And if we don't get it by then, the patching, you know, that's not a very big patch. We'll be able to do it. That's just the way it is.
There'll be a temporary plug face on that.
We're not going to put a blank plate over that, Father. And the reason why is they're spending a fair amount of money upgrading their kitchen area. The last thing they want to see, and I don't blame them, is a blank plate right over there. Okay, that's why we're going to go ahead and patch that. When this kitchen area gets done, the idea is that it doesn't look like anything was ever patched, and that's the sign of good workmanship. Did you know that?
It looked like it was patched at the time it should have been patched.
Okay, you're right. You're right about that. Okay, on to the rest of the project. We got to get this cut-in box in. You know, we're burning daylight here. The more you talk, the less I work, apparently, because I keep having to answer your questions.
You're doing good.
Look at this. It's 10 minutes to 5 already, and I don't usually work this long. I'm getting tired, and I still got to put this in, hook up that plug, and I've got to clean up. I've also got to hook this one up down in here. Man, I've got some work to do. Back to the project. I'll take this, slide it in there like that. Make sure my flaps are down fully. And then I can just gently push this into the wall. Make sure my flap stays up. Now see, if the flap comes down and the screw comes out, you want to push that screw all the way in. Get that flap up. Okay. All right, something's going on here. I'm kind of at an awkward position here. Okay. Had to readjust the Romex. And now I hold that in there. Ugh. Can't get down in there very well. I'm not left-handed, so whoopsie. I got to get down here and do this a little bit different so you can see it. Okay. Now I can tighten this up. Get that wire out of my way.
You learn by YouTube.
Okay, that's pulling in behind there. You remember? It's pulling in. And I'm just gonna make it snug. I'm gonna do that to this one now. And they have these 2-gang cut-ins, 3 gangs. I think they even go up to 4 gang. I'm not sure. Okay, now before you get it tight, you can stand back and you can look at it and see if you need to adjust it. If you do, you can move it over and then snug it down. Not too tight, just snug, because you got a lot of pressure on these 2 tabs. You do it too tight and you can suck this right down in a little bit more, okay? All right, I got it snug like that.
Put that plate over, you won't notice it.
And got my wire here like that. Okay, look at that. So far, so good.
Okay, sure.
Now you can just make this stick out 6 to 8 inches or so. You know, you don't want to get it too short. And these cutters, you can cut one at a time if you got small cutters. If you got a big cutter, you can cut the whole thing. Okay, now I've got to find, it's kind of hard not working with a nail bag on. Every time I turn around, I'm trying to find something. But when you're down on your hands and knees and crawling around, everything falls out of your nail bag anyway. So, you know, that's just the way it goes. Okay, now I'm going to score this. Hoping you can see this. My arm's not going to get in the way. Just going to lightly score it. Get my fingers out of the way. Pull that up out of the way. Like that. And there you go.
Already.
And now I can get ready to wire it. If you're not going to wire it the same day, you can bend it once and twice and fold it up, and that's called your rough wiring.
Those gonna be hot tonight?
No.
But for our case, we can just leave it like this. We can get ready to hook up the plug. The Duplex outlet receptacle. You know what? At this point, it's almost 5 o'clock and I got to clean up and get out of here. I'm going to come back and finish tomorrow and I'll be back with you. Now, before I go, what I'm going to do is I've already isolated which wire down here is the hot wire. Okay? And I can strip back the wires and put little wire nuts on them so that I can turn the breaker back on for tonight, clean up all my mess and all that, get things kind of put back together. And unfortunately, you know, I'll have to pull things out again tomorrow to hook this up. But hey, that's the way it goes when you're doing remodeling stuff. But I'm sure glad that I did not have to move this dishwasher. I consider that a big time victory. Yes, indeedy. I'll be back tomorrow to finish up. Hey, that's all I have. That's all I have for this time. But I'll be back with more videos.
Victory! Victory!
Yes, victory. Let's go eat.